From players' wives stealing the show at Augusta to new girlfriends entering the hallowed grounds of this year's Masters. These are the 15 most beautiful wives and girlfriends at the Masters 2026. She showed up on television selling fitness gear, competed on bodybuilding stages, and somehow, at the same time, was studying to become a doctor of pharmacy. Most women pick a lane. Nikki Guidish never really saw the point in that. Meet the woman who might genuinely be the most multidimensional wife in Augusta. Florida-born, sharp as they come, Nikki spent her early years in front of cameras in a completely different way than you'd expect. She was modeling fitness products for Tony Little on the Home Shopping Network, appearing on the cover of South Tampa magazine, and competing in bodybuilding contests between 2014 and 2016, all while quietly working toward a doctorate. By 2018, she had earned her Doctor of Pharmacy degree from the University of South Florida, and eventually landed as pharmacist in charge at Palm Beach Pharmaceuticals. Then there's the man she married. The reveal landed at the 2021 Memorial Tournament, where she was first seen celebrating alongside Patrick Cantlay after his victory on the 18th green at Muirfield Village. They married in Rome in October 2023, just hours after Team USA's Ryder Cup defeat at Marco Simone. And there's actually a hilarious footnote to that Ryder Cup. The real reason Cantlay skipped the team hat all week was because Nikki didn't want a golfer's tan line ruining their wedding photos. Up next, she looks like she just stepped off a red carpet. Actress, model, former Miss Georgia Junior National Teenager, and one of the final 12 models in contention for Sports Illustrated swimsuit. The cameras at Augusta aren't just following the players when she's around. That's Gina Sims. She actually met Brooks Koepka at Augusta back in 2015. She slid into his DMs on Instagram, and eventually the two went public at the 2017 US Open. Full Circle doesn't even cover it. She basically followed him back to the place where it all started. They married in 2022, and their son Crew arrived in 2023, 6 weeks early, with health complications that kept the family grounded and close. That experience clearly shifted something, because when the 2024 Par 3 contest rolled around, Gina brought Crew to Augusta for the first time. She'd previously admitted the Par 3 felt kind of lame before having a kid. Then Koepka aced the 6th hole with Crew right there beside him, lifted the boy up like Simba, and the crowd lost it. That moment went viral instantly. And Gina? She jokingly predicted it in a get-ready video earlier that morning. She's caddied for Koepka at the Par 3 contest multiple times, wearing the full Augusta whites, and Koepka said she killed it. At a tournament built entirely on tradition and silence, Gina Sims somehow makes Augusta feel like must-watch television. Which brings us to someone you've probably seen 100 times at Augusta without ever knowing her name. She's right there, on the fairways, inside the ropes, caddying at the Par 3 contest, and somehow completely off the radar. Her name is Maya Lowe, and that's entirely by design. She studied science and public health, then went on to earn a master's degree in healthcare administration. She also speaks fluent Japanese, which makes sense given her Japanese heritage and the fact that she and Xander regularly visit Tokyo together to see family. She's quietly accomplished in ways most people at Augusta never bother to ask about. She and Xander have been together since 2014, meeting as college students in San Diego. When they finally got married in 2021, the ceremony had 8 family members, 1 officiant, and their 2 dogs, just how they wanted. And when Xander won the PGA Championship in 2024, his first major after years of heartbreaking near misses, Maya was right there as he came off 18, and the crowd footage of them together went absolutely everywhere. You could feel how long that moment had been coming. She's caddied for him at the Par 3 contest at Augusta multiple times. When Xander posted the photo, she joked in the comments, "Where's my cut? 10 years together, 2 major titles, and she's still asking for commission." That's the energy. Next up, she walked onto Augusta National looking completely at ease, even though not that long ago her sport of choice had nothing to do with golf. Catherine Gall was first runner-up at Miss New Jersey USA in 2013, and her fellow contestants liked her so much they voted her the Amity Award, basically, the everyone's favorite person in the room trophy. She went to Penn State, double majored in finance and broadcast journalism with a 3.67 GPA, earned a teaching certification, and then built a career in corporate marketing. Tennis professional on the side, the woman does not sit still. She and Matt Fitzpatrick went public in January 2023, and within months, she was already caddying for him at the par 3 contest at Augusta. For someone who'd never really been part of golf culture, she adapted fast, maybe too fast. She started marking his golf balls before tournaments, writing little messages on them as her way of being part of the action. Before the 2025 Open, she wrote, "I love you and MF is cute" on his Titleist balls. He nearly led the tournament at halfway. They got engaged in September 2023, right before the Ryder Cup in Rome, and married in October 2024. Every table at the wedding reception was named after a golf course, from tennis courts in New Jersey to caddying at Augusta in under a year. Katherine Gall made herself at home in golf world. Up next, most people watching Augusta from the gallery are just hoping to see something great happen. She's watching and already knows what's about to go wrong or right before it does. Who is she? Katherine Zhu? And the difference is that she's actually played the game at a serious level herself. She grew up in Vancouver, spent her high school years in China, and chose Pepperdine University specifically for its golf program. Over 4 years as a collegiate golfer, she earned WGCA All-American Scholar honors and posted a scoring average that reflected genuine competitive ability. Like she was playing long before Colin was in the picture. The story of how they met is actually pretty funny. A mutual friend on the Cal women's golf team showed Colin her Instagram photos. He said, "Set me up as a joke, but not really as a joke." They've been together ever since, and Colin has openly admitted he didn't start winning college tournaments until she showed up. She said that watching him play makes her nervous precisely because she understands the game. She knows when something is about to get tricky, and she knows his strengths and weaknesses. She caddied for him during the par 3 contest at Augusta in 2022, and Colin has admitted she beats him roughly 70% of the time in their chipping competitions. At Augusta, where everything comes down to precision and reading the course, having that next to you is really an advantage. Coming in next, you rarely see her name trending. Her Instagram is private, her public appearances are minimal, and she avoids interviews almost entirely. And yet somehow, she's one of the most talked about women in golf. Erica Stoll met Rory McIlroy in 2012 at the Ryder Cup, where she was working as a PGA transport official. He was one of the most famous athletes on the planet. She was just doing her job. They married in 2017 at Ashford Castle in Ireland, had daughter Poppy in 2020, and for years Erica stayed exactly where she preferred, out of the frame. Then 2024 happened. McIlroy filed for divorce in May, stating their marriage was irretrievably broken. Rumors spread immediately and speculation was everywhere. A source close to the couple said Erica had grown lonely, that they'd been living very different lives, and she'd reached a breaking point. Just 1 month later, they called it off. The divorce, not the marriage. McIlroy released a statement saying they'd realized their best future was as a family together. The 2025 Masters became the ultimate redemption arc. At the par 3 contest, Erica caddied in the full Augusta whites alongside little Poppy, and Rory kissed her on the forehead on the green. Days later, he won his first green jacket, and she was the first person he ran to. All right, on to the next. While most wives and girlfriends at Augusta stick to the gallery and stay off their phones, one of them is filming everything. The Magnolia Lane drive, the caddy bib fittings, the sock-related emergencies, and posting it all in real time. Lacey Homa is a licensed real estate agent and appraiser who owns her own appraisal business in California. Smart, driven, and completely uninterested in being a passive observer. Her TikTok page has racked up millions of likes, giving fans a behind-the-scenes look at life on tour that nobody else was offering. Outfits, travel chaos, toddler meltdowns, caddy prep. She documents all of it with a humor that's made her genuinely popular in golf circles. She and Max started chatting online back in 2013, married in 2019, and welcomed a son Cam in October 2022, though the arrival wasn't easy. Lacey needed multiple surgeries after delivery and spent time in the ICU. Everything went well afterwards, and at the 2024 Par 3 contest, she caddied for Max while Cam toddled alongside in Masters-themed Jordan ones. Lacey captured the whole thing for TikTok naturally. Max posted afterward that it was one of the best days he could remember, adding that Cam wasn't particularly helpful on the bag. At the 2025 Par 3 contest, the family posed holding a baby-sized caddy bib because Lacey was visibly pregnant with their second child. And yes, that was the announcement. Next up, in a world where most golf wives and girlfriends stay off camera, she built an audience by doing the exact opposite. And golf fans have been trying to figure out her deal ever since. Lilia Schneider is a collegiate golfer from Michigan who studied marketing at Marian University in Indianapolis. And somewhere between competing on the women's golf team and building her personal brand, she became one of the most followed names in golf influencer culture. Her Instagram sits near 62,000 followers, and her TikTok has grown to roughly 3 times that. A mix of course content, lifestyle, fashion, and the kind of confident energy that draws comparisons to Paige Spiranak. Why is she on this list? Well, it is because of Bryson Dechambeau. Their connection first surfaced in 2022. She was spotted riding in a golf cart with him at a live golf event in Chicago, and his ex-girlfriend Hunter Nugent confirmed to Outkick that yes, Lilia was the woman at his side. Since then, neither has made anything official, which honestly fits both of them perfectly. Bryson built his entire brand on controlling the narrative through YouTube and social media. Lilia does the same on her own terms. 2 people who understand exactly how the internet works, staying just private enough to stay interesting. Whether she shows up at Augusta this year or not, the conversation around her already has. All right, we move on. Before the Green Jackets, before the world #1 ranking, before Augusta even knew his name, she was already there, and she was already beating him at tennis. Almost. Kelley Cahill met Jon Rahm at a Halloween party at Arizona State University. She showed up as a referee, he came as a SWAT officer. She was a javelin thrower on the track and field team, a 2-star tennis recruit, and, by most accounts, just as competitive as the Spaniard standing across from her. They lived together at ASU for 2 years before the relationship even turned romantic, which says a lot about both of them. The tennis story is legendary in their household. Kelley assumed golfers weren't real athletes and challenged Rahm to a match. He started firing cross-court winners. She couldn't believe what she was seeing, and she was so furious she didn't speak to him for a day or 2. They haven't touched a tennis court since. They married in Bilbao, Spain in December 2019. Rahm's hometown, his family's church, the whole thing. 3 children followed. Koepka in 2021, Eneko in 2022, and daughter Alaya in September 2024. Rahm joked publicly that with the third, they were officially switching to zone defense. At the 2025 Par 3 contest, the entire family was out there at Augusta. Kelley, all 3 kids, walking the course together. From a Halloween party in Tempe to the most famous golf course in the world with 3 children in tow. Some stories just have a good ending. Next up, while most people at Augusta are trying not to be noticed, she arrives on a private jet with Masters-themed desserts, captions it, "Augusta, here we come," and posts the whole thing before the first tee shot has been hit. Paulina Gretzky doesn't do low profile. Never really has. The daughter of Wayne Gretzky has built millions of followers across her social media accounts through a mix of glamour, lifestyle content, and an effortless ability to make headlines without really trying. Or maybe with trying, it's hard to tell, which is kind of the point. She's been a fixture at Augusta for years, and the cameras always find her. Her outfits regularly generate their own media cycle. Some love them, some don't. And either way, everybody's talking about them. At a 2022 tournament, one look sparked a full debate online about whether she was detracting attention from the players. Then there's the famous 2017 Masters moment that wasn't even her fault. Dustin Johnson fell down the stairs at their Augusta rental 2 days before his opening tee time, withdrew from the tournament, and the rumor mill went completely wild. Paulina eventually stepped in to set the record straight years later, calling the theories entertaining lies. At the 2025 Par 3 contest, she caddied for Johnson, carried his bag, and was photographed holding his hand on the 7th hole. Dustin Johnson, one of the most emotionless competitors in golf, smiling on the fairways at Augusta. She has that effect. Up next, before Instagram algorithms and viral moments were an everyday occurrence, a single photo of a teenage athlete competing at a California track meet broke the early internet and changed her life completely. Allison Stokke was one of the top high school pole vaulters in the country, ranked second in California and the nation her senior year. A three-time league champion who had broken her leg and came back stronger. None of that is what made her famous. In 2007, a photo taken at a track meet was reposted across sports blogs with captions that had nothing to do with athletics. She was 17. The attention was overwhelming, invasive, and impossible to escape. But she kept vaulting anyway. She earned a scholarship to Cal, competed at 2 NCAA championships, and nearly qualified for the 2012 London Olympics. Later, she rebuilt her public image entirely on her own terms, partnering with Nike, Athleta, and GoPro. Rickie Fowler reached out to her on social media in 2017, saying she seemed like the kind of person who'd fit with who he was. He wasn't wrong. They married in Cabo in 2019 and have 2 daughters together. Stokke caddied for Fowler at the Masters Par 3 contest in 2018. It was her first appearance at Augusta, a place that had no idea what kind of story was walking the fairways. Here we go next. Most people in the golf world couldn't tell you her name yet. And honestly, that might be exactly where she wants to be. For now, Christina Helema Puga studied architecture at the Universidad del Desarrollo in Concepcion, Chile, and keeps a second Instagram account dedicated entirely to her architectural work, separate from her personal life. 2 accounts, 2 identities. The polished woman at tournaments, and the one quietly building something of her own back home. She also models for surfwear brand Roxy and has interests in photography and art, which makes her one of the more creatively layered figures in this entire list. She and Joaquin Niemann have known each other since 2017, when both were teenagers in Chile, 6 years together before he proposed. They had a civil ceremony in September 2023, then a second religious ceremony in December 2024. She was at the 2023 Masters and played the Par 3 contest alongside Niemann, one of her first appearances on Augusta's biggest stage. They now live together in Jupiter, Florida, the quiet hub for tour professionals where ambition and low profiles somehow coexist. Next up, some women at Augusta look like they stumbled into golf. She looks like she was already there waiting for it. Tori Slater studied at the University of Kentucky before transferring to Florida Atlantic University, where she earned a business and marketing degree. She then built a career in luxury real estate, specializing in the Palm Beach market for over 7 years, one of the most competitive and high-end corridors in the country. Alongside that, she developed a social media presence mixing golf, travel, fashion, and the kind of effortless Florida lifestyle content that earns followers without announcing itself. She and Daniel Berger have been together for roughly a decade, likely connecting through Florida's college scene, though neither has ever confirmed exactly how it started. They've both kept things quiet for most of that time. No drama, no headlines, just a long, steady presence at tournaments that kept her in the frame whenever wifes and girlfriend coverage rolled around. She was already at Augusta in 2016, wearing the white caddy jumpsuit at the Par 3 contest, long before most people knew her name. Then in May 2025, after a decade together, Berger finally proposed. A decade of quiet loyalty to someone building his career. Augusta was never really a surprise for her. She'd been preparing for it all along,